There's a small town in Bavaria where people don't look you in the eye when they meet you. They look at your feet. Because in Herzogenaurach, your shoes decided everything. Who you could marry, where you drank beer, which side of the river you lived on. If you worked at the Adidas factory, you didn't speak to Puma employees. If your daughter dated a boy from the wrong side, she was disowned. If you wore 3 stripes into a Puma bar, you got your teeth kicked in. This wasn't a marketing rivalry, this was a civil war. And it started with 2 brothers who hated each other so much, they turned an entire town into a battlefield. One brother would build Adidas, the other Puma. Together, they would arm the greatest athletes in history and destroy each other in the process. This is the story of the Dassler Brothers, and it begins in a bomb shelter, Herzogenaurach, Germany. 2 brothers are making shoes in their mother's laundry room. Adi Dassler, 22 years old, quiet, obsessive, the kind of guy who stayed up all night stitching leather because he couldn't get the heel curve right. An introvert, a craftsman, a perfectionist. Rudolf Dassler, 26, loud, charismatic, a natural salesman who could sell snow to Eskimos, an extrovert, a drinker, a hustler. On paper, they were the perfect team. Adi made the shoes, Rudolf sold them. Adi obsessed over function, Rudolf obsessed over profit, and for a while, it worked. By 1936, the Dassler Brothers shoe factory was the biggest athletic footwear company in Germany. They were making 200,000 pairs a year, hand-stitched spikes for runners, custom boots for footballers. But there was a problem. They despised each other. Adi thought Rudolf was lazy, a con man riding his coattails. Rudolf thought Adi was weak, a doormat who let him do all the real work. Their wives hated each other. Their kids didn't speak. Every business decision became a shouting match, but they stayed together because they had a secret weapon, and his name was Jesse Owens. August 1936. The Berlin Olympics. Adolf Hitler is using the Games as a propaganda masterpiece to prove Aryan superiority, and the Dassler brothers see an opportunity. Jesse Owens, a black American sprinter, the fastest man on Earth, Hitler's worst nightmare. Adi Dassler sneaks into the Olympic Village and finds him. He doesn't speak English, Jesse doesn't speak German, but Adi hands him a pair of custom spikes, lighter, faster, sharper than anything Owens has ever worn, and Owens agrees to wear them. 4 gold medals, 4 world records, all in Dassler shoes, right under Hitler's nose. It's the greatest product placement in history. Orders explode. The Dassler name goes global. The brothers are untouchable, but the tension is building because Rudolf is jealous. Adi got all the glory for the Owens deal. Adi's name in the papers. Adi shaking hands with athletes. Rudolf? He's just the guy selling shoes in the back office. And then the war comes. World War II hits Germany like a hammer. The Dassler factory is forced to make boots for the Wehrmacht. Both brothers join the Nazi party. Not out of ideology, but survival. If you didn't play ball, you lost your business. Or worse. Adi stays in Herzogenaurach, making boots. Rudolf gets drafted, sent to Poland, comes back paranoid, bitter, convinced Adi pulled strings to avoid combat. And then comes the night that destroys everything. Allied bombers are hitting Herzogenaurach. The brothers and their families are huddled in a cramped bomb shelter. Rudolf and his family arrive late, squeezing into the tiny space. Adi, stressed, mutters something under his breath. Rudolf hears it, or thinks he does.
The dirty bastards are back again.
Rudolf is certain Adi is talking about him and his family. Adi later claims he was talking about the bombers, but Rudolf never believes him. From that moment, the brotherhood is dead, but it gets worse. After the war, American forces occupy Herzogenaurach. They start interrogating former Nazi party members. Rudolf is arrested. He spends months in an internment camp, and he's convinced Adi snitched on him to save himself. Did he? We'll never know. But Rudolf believed it, and belief is all that matters. The brothers can't stand to be in the same room. They split the company. Adi takes the factory on one side of the river. Rudolf takes the other. Adi names his company Adidas, a combination of Adi and Dassler. Rudolf creates Ruda, Ru for Rudolf, Da for Dassler. But Ruda sounds terrible, so he changes it, Puma. And the war begins. The town picks sides. If you worked for Adidas, you lived on the Adidas side. Shopped at Adidas stores. Drank at Adidas bars. Puma employees did the same. Intermarriage between the two sides? Forbidden. Business deals. Sabotaged. Soccer teams. Split down the middle. The competition became obsessive. If Adidas signed Pelé, Puma signed Maradona. If Puma sponsored a World Cup team, Adidas sponsored 3. The hatred fueled innovation. Lighter shoes, better traction, iconic designs, but it also fueled corruption. Enter Horst Dassler, Adi's son. If Adi was the craftsman, Horst was the kingmaker. He didn't just want to sell shoes, he wanted to own sports. Horst pioneered sports marketing as we know it. Sponsorship deals, athlete endorsements, tournament rights. But he also pioneered something darker, bribes. Horst paid FIFA officials under the table to ensure Adidas balls were used in World Cups. He gave gifts to Olympic committee members. He turned the sports world into a pay-to-play machine. Puma tried to keep up, but they couldn't match Adidas's war chest. The rivalry went nuclear. At the 1970 World Cup, Pelé was contractually obligated to wear Puma. But right before the opening match, he bent down to tie his shoes. Cameras flashed. The world saw the 3 stripes. Adidas had paid him to forget his Puma contract. Puma was humiliated, but the hatred never stopped. Adi Dassler died in 1978. Rudolf had died 4 years earlier, in 1974. They never reconciled, not once. They are buried in the same cemetery in Herzogenaurach, but their graves are on opposite ends. Even in death, they couldn't stand to be near each other. So what's the lesson here? 2 brothers who should have conquered the world together instead spent 50 years trying to destroy each other. They turned a town into a war zone. They weaponized sports. They poisoned their families. And for what? Ego. Today, Herzogenaurach has moved on. Adidas and Puma still have their headquarters there, but the hatred is gone. The town of bent necks is just a memory, but the empire remains. Adidas and Puma are worth over $50 billion combined. They dressed Michael Jordan, Usain Bolt, Messi, Ronaldo. They built a legacy that will outlive us all. But the brothers who started it, they died alone, hating each other. Sometimes the cost of victory is everything.